Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk Plays, a podcast where we give commentary on old quests that we've played through. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride.
And I'm Ted Bannock, and I love watching cards, I think.
And so this little type of episode came from an idea. We had a couple of playthroughs that we were playing that the audio just didn't come out. So we were wondering, how can we take advantage of this? So we have the video here in front of us. This is, I think it's both Ted and Grant running through here. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to play the video, and then we're going to talk about what is happening as if, I don't know, just give kind of commentary about what's going on. We'll talk a little bit about the quest, about the decisions, about what's going on, and then you get to see how bad of a player I really am. So without further ado, I'll hit start on the video recording, and we will get going here. So I guess this is the beginning, right? Is it playing?
Yeah.
It's playing. So this is Shadow of the Past, right? This is the first scenario of the campaign pool. You can see the campaign card up where the quest card is, right? So
yeah,
I don't know much about this scenario. I've played it a couple of times, but I don't play the campaign a lot. So what's the deal with this scenario?
Yeah. So, Shadow of the Past, first one out of the Black Riders box, like you said. You got a nasty Black Rider that starts in the staging area, and it's very thematic. It's all about the hobbits that are leaving the Shire, and they're trying to escape or not be in sight of the Black Riders as they're trying to get to Bree to visit Gandalf, which is one of my favorite portions of the whole series. So this quest is super fun and thematic to play. And so we got Grant is on the left playing with Sam, Pip, and Mary.
Right, the Black Riders hobbits. Those are the 3 of the 4 hobbits that are out of the Black Riders box, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And you're playing hobbits too, it looks like.
These are decks that Grant built, and then we gave him a little play test, did a couple tweaks. And my deck ended up being it was Bilbo, Falco, and Tom Cotton. So we have somewhat of a thematic, kind of like all hobbits in the Shire type of playthrough.
Yeah, only the fact that I'm running with Ents.
Allies being excluded from that.
Right. Is it really a hobbit deck if you're running all Ents?
But it's not all Ents. It's just got a few decent Ents in there.
Right. Well, looking at your opening hands, it looks like you got the Staff of Lebethron. It looks like Grant has the Staff of Lebethron and Friend of Friends. And what's that 4th card, that lore card? Needful to Know? No.
No, that's the the one that allows you to search your top 5 cards and add a card in the victory display.
Out of the wild. It's out of the wild.
Out of the wild, that's it. So it looks like you have a pretty good... That feint there is pretty good because the Nazgul you can use because it's not a player card effect, so you can keep that feint there. And if I remember, Ted also had a feint in his hand. Just very quickly while you guys were talking, he clicked over and I saw that. So... there it is. It's both of you have feint and Gandalf in your hand, so that's really good for that. And and then there's Ted. Ted's screen name is Hippo Boy. I don't know if I even want to ask him how he got that. So Ted drew map.
Yeah, that's my that's my online handle for most games. I don't know. I used it a while ago, and it just. I never let go of it.
Ted was 12 when he came up with that handle.
I think I was, actually. I think I was.
It looks like Grant drew Build a Pony, which can come out for free because of Sam as being in play. And then we're going to use Out of the Wild right at the beginning here. Secrecy 2, so we'll use Pippin's resource. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Without a doubt, I would get rid of a Surge card. That's what I would do. So that Lure of the Ring, that second one in, is what I would get rid of. What do you guys?
So apparently our thoughts were at the time between those two. I don't remember. I think we discussed those being the worst. Road Like a Gale and Piercing Shriek. Out of the Wild is really nice. It's really tech play by Grant. because it lets you get rid of a non-objective card worth no victory points, which can actually be the Black Riders for the scenario. You can just remove them from the encounter deck, essentially.
Which is what I was going for, but obviously the encounter deck had other.
Right. If you guys had Farsighted, this is one of those times where Farsighted would have comboed really nicely with that. You could have seen what was coming up and figured out to use it or not use it. So.
Oh yeah, I think Farsighted might have been spoiled when we played this, but I don't think it was released.
Yeah.
No, it definitely wasn't.
And you don't have to play it either. So, so it looks like. I would guess that Grant's going to pull out the Staff of Lebethron at some point. Friend of Friends. That's a high quality play right there. Pulling out a Friend of Friends, in my opinion. So, because if you have to get rid of an attachment, it's good to get rid of that before you have to get rid of one of your more meaningful attachments.
Oh, like if a shadow card comes up?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, it looks like I dropped a Shire Folk, which, like there's
nice.
like zero reason to ever like not play that card.
Right.
I haven't.
Right, but then you get the resourceful for its shadow cost, so or for its secrecy cost. So that's good.
Yeah.
Don't you wish an alpha secrecy?
Secrecy 4.
Yeah. Right. So.
He kind of is if you sneak attack him. He's kind of always been.
Yeah, that's true.
Secrecy.
Right. So bag end, when response leaves play, you get to do stuff. So I don't know. It looks like you guys are getting all set up here pretty easily. Ted's going to quest with Bilbo. That's really good because you can. Bilbo, I found, is like the ultimate quester for hobbits because you can just cancel out the threat of a non-unique enemy or non-immune enemy in the staging area, which in this case is the Nazgul with a threat of, I don't know, stupid.
4.
They got 4.
So,
yeah. So
and it does damage to him.
Bilbo's essentially questing for 5 at the minute.
Yeah. Right. So Lure of the Ring.
Hey, it's that Lure of the Ring that we didn't get rid of with Out of the Wild.
I know. Did you forget to shuffle, Grant?
I wasn't taking care of the encounter deck this game.
Yeah, I was running the
Ted,
encounter deck.
Oh, Ted forgot to shuffle. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's hide tests in this game, right? So
yeah,
that's the shadow card, the stock road there. Now then you get a black red. Okay, so obviously you shuffle. So, anyways, there's hide tests, right? So what's the mechanic of the hide test in this?
So the hide has a certain value, and it comes out. The Nazgul have it, and then some treachery cards require you to make a hide test. And when you do, you have to commit. You can commit any number of characters you want to the hide test, and the mechanic is you will then reveal cards from the encounter deck equal to the hide value, and the characters you committed to the test, their willpower must equal to or exceed the threat value revealed from the encounter deck cards.
Okay.
So,
but those cards don't trigger, right? Like those cards don't get put in the staging area or anything. Right?
No, they just get. It's basically like the escape tests from the Dead Marshes. You discard them after you reveal them.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we might have. Did we So we revealed that Nazgul, and it's whoever reveals, or maybe it's the first player. I already forgot the rules of the.
What is
I
it?
think we forgot to do the hide test because I didn't exhaust anyone, and then I don't see that Grant did either. So I think we might have just forgot that one. So what we were supposed to do is reveal 2 encounter cards and commit people. And I think
do you do that before you do your questing, or do you do it after questing?
So you resolve it immediately. So as soon as that card's revealed, you do the hide test like as it's being revealed somewhere in that window, and then once that's resolved, because there's consequences for failure, and the main quest scenario says if you fail, the Nazgul will engage you and immediately attack you for not hiding.
So did you just choose not to do any hiding there? Is that what you did?
I think we forgot about it, and if I remember rightly, we corrected ourselves coming up.
Even the best players in the world, like Ted, can screw up every once in a while. Right?
That's right.
Look at this. This is funny watching Grant try to grab those cards and bring them over. Ted side.
Yeah, passing control is just kind of a little more tedious when you're playing
Yeah,
digitally.
it's a little more clunky. Um, so, I mean, it's a second turn now. Looks like Grant, or not Grant, it looks like Ted, you have two Gandalfs in your hand now, and you can probably bring one out and do some damage. I don't know what the hit points are on the Black Riders in this box, but probably 9 or something like that.
Yeah, they're
6.
yeah. I think they need 10 to be killed. I think they have 6 hit points and 4
4
defense.
defense. Okay.
And I also looks like we forgot. I feel like we quested successfully.
No, we
And
didn't.
No, you didn't.
Did you raise our threat? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that you guys
That's right.
raised your threat, or else you would have put progress on the
8.
location and stuff. So.
Yeah. I think we sent 8, and that second Nazgul messed us up.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if you actually win this game. So I didn't catch to see what Grant drew, but let's see. It's Ted. You're deciding what you're going to do, but I would hazard a guess that you're going to bring out a Gandalf. That's what I would.
Yep.
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, I think we're discussing like what are we gonna do with his effect? Like are we gonna do the damage or?
So you're going to bring out Mablung.
Mablung.
This is why. This is why I'm so good at this game. What does Mablung do?
It allows you to engage an enemy in the staging area or make it have +5 engagement costs.
Okay. Oh, there comes Gandalf. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I spent a lot of resources there.
Yeah.
So I brought them both out, and I think we decided on doing the damage to the enemy.
There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. So that's good. Okay. See, and you know what I like about you guys when you're playing this? It looks like you're playing very, very by the book. Like Ted, you'll do your turn, and now Grant's going to do his turn. I guess Are you doing the hide test, Grant? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think I'm busy committing to the quest at that point because I had nothing to play.
Yeah, I mean you have the Welling Hall Preserver and you have Fate and Gandalf, so you can't bring out a second. Okay, so you're gonna pull that guy over to you. Okay, I get it because now Grant's gonna play Fate. Oh, but that's a combat action, but he's not gonna make an attack right away. Okay.
No, yeah,
I got it.
Mablung just lets you engage it, so now you're not questing versus its threat. It's out of the staging.
And then, like we said with Bilbo can get rid of one of those threat costs. So that 4 threat cost of the Black Rider that's in the staging area is now null. So that's good. So you guys actually may be able to do this, like quest successfully. I mean.
Yeah. Well, because we already had that. We already missed that hide test. So that was
and that's significant enough that you probably should go back and replay it. But nonetheless, it's still fun to go through and see what you.
If I remember rightly, we had enough characters up to deal with a hide 2 anyway.
But you wouldn't have discarded the cards and stuff like that too. I don't know. It's up to you guys whether you want to play it again, right?
I think we catch it during this quest stage, I believe.
Yeah, so it's the player who reveals it. So the second card last turn was me, so I would have had to make the hide test. I would have had Falco and Tom Cotton to commit. So I don't know. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what you guys do. So there's 1, 2. So there, I guess you're making up for it now, right? 1, 2.
Oh, I think we're seeing if I would have passed or failed doing that.
Yeah.
And I think we decided that I would have passed, so we just kept playing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. No harm, no foul. And you haven't revealed any extra cards off of the encounter deck, so looks like you have won. Now, can you commit? You can commit Yorith to a hide test, right?
You can.
For 0 willpower, right?
For 0 willpower.
Right.
I suppose if you had an effect to boost your willpower, like Faramir, because you can use effects to boost willpower on hide tests,
right?
Like Faramir or Elrond's Council or anything like that.
Protector of Lorien.
Grant committed a couple to a hide test. That's 4. So now you failed the hide test, right?
I believe I did.
3, 4. If you committed. Who did you?
Someone's mad that you failed the hide test.
I was gonna say that's what I feel like when I am playing this with the stuff. Um, so let's see. So you have 4 for your hide test, and I forget you committed Bill. Bill has 1 willpower. Did you commit Sam?
No, Sam
To
was
that?
committed to the quest.
Oh, so there you go. Now you're taking the
Yeah.
okay, and now Sam can defend for
So Sam readies with his ability
right,
when
and then the
the natural
staff gets
engages.
the Lebethron staff of Lebethron gets rid of the shadow effect, and so now you take 3 damage. Bill the pony. Okay, good thing
So,
Bill the pony's a rocking dude for this. You guys, I think all Hobbit characters in play, right? It's not
yeah.
even that you control.
Yep, that's what we just actually discussed when I put them out into play. That it was a
Like,
global effect.
yeah, that's crazy. But how come you're not dealing Bilbo's 1 damage?
I think so. The
Oh, well, the
first
first
round
round
we
you didn't commit. You
failed.
didn't go.
We have to be
Yeah,
successful. I think maybe we catch it later on, but we definitely like forgot to trigger it.
Grant just drew 3 cards for some reason.
Because we cleared bag end, and it's draw number of cards equal to the number of Hobbit heroes you can draw.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, very powerful in this scenario because it's gonna be if you're playing all hobbits. It
Well,
could
for
be
you guys, it is. Yeah.
yeah, or yeah, 3 or 4 cards if you're running all hobbits and you control Frodo.
Now, where did that 1 damage come from? Was that the 1 damage for questing
That's,
successfully?
yeah, that'll be
Okay.
the 1 damage from Bilbo.
Yeah, looks like we put it there
Now
on the
you're
one that was
choosing
not.
on which one.
Yeah.
Well, that was the one in the staging area when we
Yeah.
started
So
the quest.
It's the only one that you could have put it on
Yep.
because that's the one that whose threat you canceled out. So this is an interesting quest. Like when you play through these scenarios, these campaign scenarios, like do you feel like you're playing through the books, like for real? Like how thematic do you feel these scenarios are?
I think they've captured the essence of the parts in the story that they are doing very well, especially in these beginning quests, like going through the Shire to get Crick Hollow before you venture on into the up to Brie. And then obviously Fog on the Barrow Down and the other print on demand one that was
The Old Forest.
The Old Forest are very indicative of those 3-4 chapters that they're in the middle of leaving the Shire and getting to Brie. I think it's captured really well. I haven't really played much past the first box, so I haven't really played like the Khazad-dûm part of the story and on. I've played the quest standalone, but I've not done the campaign version of it. So, but I think they did a very good job with these earlier ones for definite.
Right. There's a lot of readying and stuff going on here, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but
yeah,
that's cool.
I wasn't paying much attention when I was busy talking. So.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It looks like well, both of you have a feint, so if you don't feint these guys right now, I think you're probably playing the game wrong.
yeah, we started the game. So at the start of the campaign, you can pick well, you get to start with Mr. Underhill, I think, as you just get started with that title. It's like a condition or something, attachment for Frodo.
Right.
Yeah.
And that also acts like a feint card. It stops an enemy attack.
Okay. And then you're able to kill the.
And I used my feint the last round to cancel the attack of the Black Rider that was dealt to me. And then Ted just used his feint to cancel my attack again.
Right. That's good. So this is really good. So that Woodman clearing when that came out, lore threat reduction, it's amazing, right? So here's a case where you're going to clear that road and get threat reduction, and great, you're in a bad way there. You have 30 threat. Like that's huge for this Hobbit deck here. So do you have Shire folk in this deck?
Yes, I've got. Each deck has or had 3 copies of the Shire folk in.
Okay, that's fine. You're going to need to heal too.
Yeah, I think I asked Ted for your seal.
And then here comes Treebeard. Okay.
Yeah, he showed up. right? Didn't he show up in the first couple chapters? Oh,
Yeah, he ran in from the old forest. He's like, here you
yeah.
go. So,
Well, he could be Old Man Willow in a different form.
oh my gosh, Ted, what is all
Yeah.
that junk in your hand? Look at that. You have Gaffer. This game's over. Gaffer Gamgee just nullified the whole quest. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of Card Talk Play. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, and plus you have the resourceful onto Falco. So you're going to get two research. So basically, you're going to be able to. And look, hey, you did the thing that I
Hey.
expected you to do.
Yeah, and if I remember rightly, I also asked him to put Sting out at this point.
Yeah, we were debating because Sting is guarded specifically by an enemy, and in this quest, there's only two enemies. There's the Nazgul that you've seen,
Right.
or there's an evil crow. Oh, and the first
Right.
card
This is a Nazgul.
At least it doesn't trigger a tide effect.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice bonus that you don't have to do the hide test.
Right.
The way the guarded keyword resolves.
How many Nazgul are in the encounter deck in this scenario?
I will check for you right now, my friend.
Because it
I
seems
think-
like you've seen 12 of them already.
Yeah,
And I'm no lore expert, but I feel like
there's
there may be 4 actually, right?
I think there's 4 or 5. It's enough. It's a lot.
Right. But the thing about it is that you can continually quest with Bilbo, and Bilbo's going to put 2 damage on that Nazgul now, and in 3 rounds it'll be done. So, I mean, that's not the best, most exciting way to do it, but at least it'll be.
Yeah.
In normal mode, there are 5 Black Riders. In standard mode, there are 3. In easy mode, there's 3.
Okay. I was like in standard and in normal. This is good. That Staff of Lebethron. That Staff of Lebethron is one of those things that I don't play very often, but it seems to be coming in really handy here to be able to cancel a shadow effect for you.
You see,
Yeah.
I never used to use Staff of Lebethron because I didn't like the fact that it was restricted.
Right.
But it's come in clutch so many times, I
Right.
can't knock it.
It's a really great card, and have we done an episode on it?
No, we haven't done it.
Oh, we got to queue up that. Yeah, its effect essentially gets rid of a shadow card, but it's hard to play because you have to have a Gondor or Hobbit hero, and it's a restricted slot item, as Grant mentioned, and the enemy has to have higher threat than you. So you have to meet a lot of conditions to play it.
Which is why Hobbits work so well with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam's probably one of the best targets in the game, I'd say.
Sam, Tom, even Fatty to some degree if you can get a Hobbit cloak on him.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom would be a good target as well, assuming you have a lone up threat.
Well, anybody who's going to be defending really is the thing. I found that if Bilbo's not questing, then he's going to be defending. So, man, there's that Lure of the Ring again. That's the 7th time you've seen that, even though you didn't discard it in the first round. So, sometimes you just see the same thing over and over again. So, were you able to?
There are 3 copies of that.
Gildor! You got Gildor! That's so awesome!
Gildor came in clutch this game.
Yeah.
There he is. On your way out of the Shire, you run into Gildor and Glorian. So does he get committed to the quest when he gets jumped off of the encounter deck like that, or not?
No, you just gain control of them.
Okay, that's good. So I don't know how much you guys quested for, but looks like if the bottom is telling any truth, there's 12 at the bottom against 7. But
yeah, and I have 10 on my marker. I don't know if we actually sent 22 or if that number is. I think one of us might have said it. Yeah, I don't think we sent that much. We're still on the first stage. We're taking our time.
Yeah.
We're trying to stall out because I know what's coming.
Well, okay, so what's I mean, is this one of those quests where you want to turtle on the first?
I'd recommend to, because of the fact on the second quest phase, all your allies during the height basically contribute +1 to the height test.
They can't contribute +1
No,
to wait.
no, they contribute +1 threat to the hide test for each ally you control.
Oh, so you want a turtle to get more allies out, or so that you can?
You want a turtle just to build up your board state, so that.
Hey, look, we did the Bilbo damage.
Yep.
You should. Oh, I was gonna say you should do 2. You did 2. That's good. 2 more rounds and you'll have Bilbo out, or you'll have Sting out.
I think I managed to play. One of our managers to play Gandalf, and we end up claiming Sting at one point.
I think you're going to be able to kill this guy.
I think you may be right.
Well, you had a feint in your hand, so now that's going to cancel the attack. Mary's going to attack for 4, and then quick beam.
And Gildor.
Yeah,
Gildor, I think, gets you to, because you need to do 8. Mary does 4 by himself, as long as you're first player, which you are. So then,
yeah, and then Sam probably triggered, so he's boosted 2 as well.
Man, but we're only this easy for the hobbits in the book, right?
I don't think Sam is triggered this round because that was engaged with me last round.
That could have been, yeah. But there's still plenty.
Yeah.
There's me talking about it and just saying, yeah, I'm committing everything to the attack.
Evaporate. Yeah. If there's one thing I've learned from playing with Grant is he loves to just kill things really good.
Yep. No joke.
Yeah. So Gildor is amazing when you see him coming off there.
Yeah, so we're choosing to pay the resource to keep him around. Because if you don't pay the Baggins resource off Frodo, he gets discarded.
Right. And so it's a way that everybody gets resource starved. But now, does that Frodo have that he can't gain resources through card effects, or could you put that resourceful on him?
No, you can't place resourceful on him. I don't think. I think
that's what you get. Look, Grant drew a sneak attack now. Oh my god! Here comes it. If you don't play sneak attack Gandalf now to get that Sting and then quest with Gandalf, it's going to be bad. That's my prediction for what's going to happen. You're going to sneak attack Gandalf in that phase, and then quest with him with the questing phase. Oh, I love Farmer Maggot. Farmer Maggot is one of my favorite Hobbit characters. It's like Gandalf light. Deal 2 damage to anybody. So Grant, these decks were your creation.
Yes.
You didn't want to play with the greatness that is Ted's amazing deck building.
I'd already built the decks because originally they were going to be hobbits with bears and hobbits with ents.
Okay. Lots of creatures.
Well, yeah. When Ted took over the deck, he made a few changes and made it more focused around the hobbits rather than the bears, and ended up taking them out.
Oh, that Ted taking out the bears.
And just as a side note, I've just had a look, and Frodo Baggins can receive resources from other card effects. He doesn't say that he can't.
I know that there's one of them. How did you heal 3?
From Eorth.
Eorth heals 3?
Yeah,
2.
For 1.
Okay.
Heals 3 for the cost of 1 lore resource.
Okay. Which is fine. Boy, I think you guys have the perfect setup right now. I think that you're pretty good.
Yeah.
It went much better than our first run.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got Gav first. That pretty much protects me from any attack if the enemy's threat is higher. And Grant's got Sam with Leberthron, so the Shadow card control also helps you control attacks.
Right, and he's going to have Sting. You're going to have Sting out on Bilbo here shortly, so that's going to be easy. So.
Well, we'll see where that Sting goes.
Oh, maybe it goes on Sam.
Well,
Sam's a good target for it, and so is Farmer Maggot. So is Tom Cotton.
Yeah, Tom Cotton's right, because then it boosts his defense to 4, and then he does a damage back.
Right,
so he's like prime defender.
Right, Gondorian Tom Cotton.
But same thing. Sam gets the attack bonus from it, and then will also deal damage when he attacks or if he defends. So,
right.
Bilbo's like maybe the worst target, because even Falco's got 2 attack, right? So you want to boost him to 3.
Well, if you can fast hitch, who's the one? Sam is probably the one that's most versatile in terms of doing multiple things in multiple phases.
Yeah, because
And
he'll
then
get the willpower bonus too.
right, and then willpower, but then I think Bilbo does good work also because he can quest like crazy, but then he can also defend. He's 2 defense with Sting. He's 3 defense and do the damage back. So I think that Bilbo's a good target. Depends on um, how many other guarded cards are in there, though. I guess. So leave some people up so you can pass a hide test. This is always the way multiplayer works. Somebody's like, "Well, I will commit to the quest." So everything, and then somebody else is like, "I'll deal with the attack and defense." So there's a piercing cry again. Oh my god, how many times? Jeez. You guys with this piercing cry.
Yeah.
It's like there's only 4 cards in the encounter deck, and you just keep seeing the same 4 encounter cards over and over again. Nazgul, piercing cry, lure of the ring, and some random land, some random location. So
Yeah, this scenario is really focused on like it forces you to deal with the Black Riders because the treachery cards like Piercing Cry. That's essentially what they do. They just make you deal with the Black Riders.
right now let's talk a little bit about this as the game is playing out. That peril keyword. So the peril keyword is supposed to be that the player who turns over the card is the one that makes the decision without any input from the other player. Like or is
Yep.
the one that has to take the effects without input from the other player, right? So like if something comes in and engage like how like what's the deal with the peril keyword? Like do you talk about it? Like
What's the deal with the peril keyword?
There's no real reason not to talk about it. You just can't. You just it's meant to be your decision, not influenced by other players. Now, when it first came out, it was like, yeah, you don't talk about it, you just do it. And it's most people I know don't want to be a troll, and they'll just sit and talk about it and decide what's best for them as a group. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on how hardcore rules you are.
yeah, I mean if the intent, what's the intention of the rule? Let's like, is the intention of the rule that you read the card? It says peril, and then you read the card and you make the decision.
Well, I think it's more of the fact of you make the decision on the card that's designed for your peril, without the input of other players. That's how it's read, I believe.
Yeah, that's just okay. So is this a retroactive sneak attack Gandalf play? I was just about to say after our discussion about peril that we should do something. I can't believe you didn't
Well, I
bring
think
out
we used them.
Gandalf.
We're going to use them for the combat phase.
Well, engage. So this will be engagement then. I guess you put two progress on the active location.
Right, and just for your information, peril. When a player reveals an encounter card with the peril keyword, he must resolve the staging of that card on his own without conferring with other players.
Right.
The other players cannot take any actions or trigger any responses during the resolution of that card.
Okay, well that makes a little more sense. I had forgotten that the other person can't react to that card specifically.
Yeah.
So apparently you're not playing Sneak Attack Gandalf because you're still just trying to. How did you failed the hide test. So when you fail the hide test, does the Nazgul comes down and engages you? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Because you failed to hide from the Nazgul.
And I think that's both of them that should come down. If not, I think we messed up.
I don't remember if each one or if it's just the one that fails.
How did you draw a card?
From engagement with Pippin.
All right. Grant, your threat is so high that it's ridiculous.
I know.
Grant's the one playing a Hobbit deck, and it's like, let's Okay, there goes Gaffer Gamgee, so that's good. That's always that's the best thing. And so, yeah, Staff of Lebethron, cancel the shadow, and then take 2 damage. 2? 3, right. Okay. And then kill the thing. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Who's it going to go on? This will be interesting. I'm the only one that hasn't seen this played here, so let's see. I still think it should go on Bilbo. That's my, unless you guys aren't playing fast hitches for some reason.
We have them, I think,
just
in both
just start drawing them,
but we haven't gotten them. I mean, we haven't seen it come up in either of our hands, so
I know. Well,
we're just gonna make the best play. So went on Sam.
No, it goes on Sam. That's not a horrible play, but now he can't have anything else. So
well, does he need anything else?
Well,
yeah, he's full up on restricted items, but yeah, the 2 that he's got are quite powerful.
Yeah. So you canceled the attack from that dude.
Yeah, I put Gaffer back into my hand to just essentially stop his whole attack.
Right, and then how does not Moblin work? Well, I guess you're just going to let it sit there. You're not going to try to attack back.
I don't think I had enough to break it.
You had not enough attack power, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd actually worked out, can you actually do any damage? And it was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, but we took it out of the staging and stopped its attack at least.
That's a good thing. So yeah. I find it interesting that there's only 1 quest point on this quest card, and you're still
turned 1.
Yeah, still just kind of hanging out on that quest there, or on that, not that quest, on that stage. So Grant's deciding whether he wants to bring out the third Dingle Warrior or not.
Yeah,
darn dingo.
I was also debating what resources to use, if I remember rightly, as well.
Well, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, you have to use the tactics ones.
Well, no, it was whether or not you use the one for Treebeard or not.
Yeah, try to avoid using Treebeards, because he just readies. So, but you decided not to play the Dingle Warrior. Okay.
Oh, hey, yeah, I played Farmer Maggot. So Farmer Maggot, when he enters play, he'll do 2 damage to the Black Rider for being a higher engagement. And go ahead, Grant.
I was just saying, and if I remember rightly, in questing, I think I dropped out Sneak Attack Gandalf to nuke the Black Rider.
That could be. Yep, there's Gaffer.
There's Gaffer.
What's kind of fun too is there's an interaction between Gaffer and Tom Cotton. So Tom Cotton has that response that when you play a Hobbit, they get +2 attack for that round.
Right.
So Farmer Maggot becomes 4 attack the first round he comes out, plus deals the 1 or 2 damage, which is phenomenal. But Gaffer repeatedly comes in and out of play.
Right.
So he's almost like with Tom Cotton. He's at I think he's a 0 attack. I don't know if Gaffer is 1 or 0.
He's 0. He's he quests for 1 or 2, and then has 2 hit points. So
yeah, but then he's always boosted if you're bouncing him back and forth. So he can. That's kind of but then you have to not use his ability to stop an attack. But you kind of have that option. He's like flexible in that way.
Right. Hey, there's a fast hitch. Oh my gosh, Hippo Boy must have had a fast hitch in his hand. Let's see, who does that go on? Is it gonna go on?
Oh no, Gaffer's he's got 1. It's hard to see, but he's got 1, so he goes to 3 with. You're
gonna put a fast hitch onto Frodo. Explain the logic behind that craziness.
I think it's because we both get use out of Frodo, so you can actually do multiple things for both of us rather than just one of us.
Well, yeah, because we have hide tests, right? So he can then quest and be used for a hide test for the player that controls him.
Why don't you just use the thing with the most?
With the most what, David?
Most willpower.
Well, sometimes you don't have enough. I mean, you can commit as many characters as you want to. So sometimes you want to guarantee or get as close to you as you can to not fail.
Right.
You know,
Because if you put it on Sam, Sam can commit for 3 for the quest and then for a hide test.
right? But
And then
only
he could
for
defend and attack. Like, I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's better options for the fast hitch.
Well,
Get at me, guys. Get at me.
I mean, yeah, you're not. There's other great targets certainly. Since we're piling up Sam, but since the table sort of shares Frodo, that his action also gets shared.
I
Then
see what you're saying. Yeah,
players.
because then because it's only the first player that can do the hide test, so Frodo can be used for both players, and then he's good. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So there's only 4 in the staging area, and can I just tell you that my favorite name in all of Locationdom is probably Bam Furlong.
It's fun to say.
Yes, it's very fun to say. So, ooh, burden. Anytime I see
Great.
that goldish color burden, each enemy in the staging area engages the first player. If the one ring is exhausted, this effect cannot be canceled. Well, that's good. There's none in the
it's at the end
area.
it's at the end of the phase, right?
Right.
So we kind of had to decide, like, before anything was revealed, if we were gonna cancel with Frodo's ability.
Right.
But I think we decided against it.
Yeah, I think we're like, let it ride.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the best part of the game is those decision points. Like, so we talked about decision points of putting fast hitch on Frodo versus other things, but like, there's something that's seemingly, innocuous with that burden that's out there. But what if you drew 2 more Nazgul? And it's not like the Nazgul on the victory display in this scenario, so they get recycled into the deck. And I know that you've seen 3, but what if you saw 2 more, and then all of a sudden you're like the decision points in this game are very, very important, and you don't know what's coming. So that's why it's like just to try to like roll the dice a little bit.
Well, that was exactly it. It was to roll the dice.
Right. And so there's the hide test for something, which I'm not sure.
You had to return the Nazgul to the staging area,
but there's no Nazgul. There's no Nazgul in play.
Exactly. So you still have to make the hide test.
Oh, okay. This is how often I play this scenario. I played it once a year and a half ago because I'm in the middle of a campaign with my buddy. So.
Are you still not finished that?
No. We got to the Battle of Pelennor Field, and that was tough. So
yeah, these the saga scenarios, I mean, they are difficult, and it really helps if you can kind of take a generic deck, and you might be fine, but it really helps to sort of tech against these because of how like specifically difficult they are with like certain things, like the hide tests. You need extra characters with good willpower.
Right. So might as well just add some characters with willpower in there. Don't add a whole bunch of Defenders of Ramas or anything into the deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that may not be bad to defend off a Black Rider.
Minimize the number of 1 willpower
right.
allies because of the fact of this. When a player makes a hide test, adds +1 to the total drop for each ally that the player controls.
I see that. That's horrible.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
For each ally. So let's see if we can count allies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Oh, there's a Nazgul. Does the Nazgul come out because of the quest card? And does it get added to the staging area or revealed?
It gets added.
Now we're counting, I guess, right?
Yep.
6. He's not an ally.
Yeah, I'm basically counting up the willpower I have for this test.
Oh, you're screwed, Grant. Probably not. You have some high willpower. You have some high willpower stuff there.
I think it actually works out that I do end up being unable to succeed, if I remember rightly.
There was a whole bunch of negatives there. I think it works out that I don't think that I was able to do the thing not to do. Not
yeah.
to do what it was.
Do you speak English?
badly.
Oh man, Gandalf's clutch here. It's got to be clutch. I mean, are you still in the quest phase, quest resolution phase? I guess because you snuck him into play. So right.
Yep.
So you're counting up. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 allies. So that's +6. You guess your hope for 2 treacheries to come off, right? For zero threat.
Yeah, but that's still +6 for the.
Oh, I know. Gildor and Gandalf, when you commit, will be up to would be 7, and then you can go from there. Mary is 9. Is there a number, guys? Since is there a number that is about what is good to use to pass a hide test?
Oh, I'm sure someone mathed out what the average is. But they
Yeah.
looked at all the cards.
Right.
Go ask
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the average encounter card I'm sure the average is probably like 2 point something, like 2.5 or 2.75. But
Ooh, I think I actually.
it's so variable in this quest because you do have a lot of treacheries, which count as 0, but then you have the
Right.
Black Riders that are 4. So 2 cards, a 0 and a 4 is still 4.
Right.
And that's going to be usually at least 2 characters of,
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I aim to commit like 6 on average if I can.
Okay.
Just to make sure, or there's a couple 3 threat locations, or you can get a 4 and a 2. Like 6 is kind of like the safest minimum.
Ooh,
if you can afford to.
What was that shadow effect that Mary just ended up dying? Or Pippin, I'm sorry. What is it?
Yeah, it's undefended, I believe it was.
You took it undefended?
No, I defended with Gandalf, and then it was treat the attack as undefended.
You couldn't attack it with Gandalf anyways, right? Because he was snuck into play during the last phase.
I failed the height test, so it comes down and makes an immediate attack.
No, it's still during that phase, right? You failed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of those evil crows shadow effect, I ended up losing.
You couldn't use Pippin or Sam. It's frustrating.
Well, I could have used Sam, but if I remember rightly, I chose not to because I had the second attack to deal with Sam, and I chose to deal with Treebeard instead because of the shadow effects, just in case I took a little bit too much damage, forgetting I had Staff of Labyrinth on there.
Right. Well, you would have lost Sam anyways because it does 4, and you would have only been defending for 3 or something like that.
Well, I've got a defense boost with Sting +2 from, or is it +1 from?
Sting is +1.
Yeah,
so, and then you would have been +1, and you would have had a hit point of damage anyways. It would have taken undefended. You would have lost it anyways. So.
Yeah. The shadow effect for the evil crow is if you have failed a high test this round, this attack is considered undefended.
Right. It's an evil thing. Undefended attacks really, unplanned undefended attacks suck.
Yes, they do.
But I mean, let's talk about making up for that. I mean, Pippin is, he's not necessarily he's a good support hobbit. He adds 3 to the engagement cost, and then he lets you draw cards. So that's always good, but it's not like you need him out there to be awesome, right?
Yeah, I think the most crippling effect for Grant's deck specifically is that he's got 1 hero of 3 different spheres. So losing a hero means you can't afford lore cards anymore.
Right.
So that was the biggest downside.
Right. And that's frustrating because I'm sure the Ents are lore cards, so you're going to be stuck just having to use Treebeard's resources to pay for those instead of
Ooh, I played my Bywater Sheriff.
Yeah, I like that Sheriff of Bywater. He's gone on the table a couple of times for me, and
he's really great for Hobbit decks because he plays
sturdy.
His abilities based off of enemies with high engagement or you having lower than their engagement.
Right.
So, and you play him with Tom Cotton, the round they come out, if they attack an enemy higher than your threat, they attack for 4.
Right, which
That's
is
a lot.
a lot for a silly little hobbit. And then yeah, I don't know. I would
So
assume
like
you brought Gaffer out, so you can Gaffer the Black Rider out. You have to pass the hide test, right? Or do you not pass? You don't have to pass it this round, right? It's only the time it comes into play.
It's when it's revealed.
yeah.
Right. So Grant.
I think I pull the Dirndingle out at this point.
Well, you should pull out both Gandalf and the Dirndingle. Is what I would do. Gandalf with your regular resources, and two with the.
And there's me debating whether or not I do damage, draw cards.
Yep.
Hey, you're gonna draw cards, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he drew into Rosie Cotton, so that's
always a good thing.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Right. And then see, here comes the turn. Hey, I'm pretty good at this game. I picked exactly what what Grant was gonna do. Either that or Grant and I both suck equally. One of the two.
I just suck. As you can tell from that serious misplay with not actually sending anything for the high test and just letting it resolve.
Well, I mean, that's a calculated risk you take, right? Like,
true.
I mean, Ted is like the best player ever, and he went along with it. So, you know.
Yep, my wisdom guided us through. That's right, David. Thank you.
Yeah, your wisdom failed Grant. But so you're going to make 14 progress on this thing. Like, is there a point at which you just say, I have to YOLO quest this thing, or do you like? Is that not this round? I guess, but
it might be by the looks of it. Because on this stage, you really want to blow past it as quickly as you can.
Is there another quest card after this? I forgot to read if the stage is defeated.
Yeah, there's 3 stages to the scenario.
Funny little thing. The title of the quest card for stage 1 is called Three is Company, and Three is Company is the name of one of the podcasts within the community. So Joseph, Liam, and Ryan. There's a little shout out for you. So. 2 locations. How often does that happen? Do you guys ever get 2 locations? That little frustrating. I guess when you're playing 2 player, it's not as bad, but
depends on the turn. Because sometimes you like locations. Also depends on the scenario, but they might not immediately affect the game state.
Right.
And sometimes you need that to advance a stage or deal with an enemy that's already in play.
Right. Come on, go to Bam Furlong. Oh man.
No, so we didn't, and that comes back to bite us later, I believe.
Oh really? So you go to Woody End, and Woody End is one of those unique locations that helps you out. And that first one reduces the hide test value, but you don't have to do hide tests, right? This round because you didn't draw anybody who has a hide test, right?
Yeah, not this round, but if an Nazgul comes out next round, we'll have to do so.
Yeah, you'll be good. But you're gonna do this. Do you have a feint in your hand, Hippo Boy? Oh no, but you have
I got Gaffer.
Yeah, you have Gaffer. Who cares, right? You don't need anything.
Deal in the shadow card, and yep, there goes Gaffer. And then I got my Sheriff swings for 4 this round because of Tom Cotton's ability.
Right, and then Unseen Strike.
And an Unseen Strike.
Unseen Strike, which is amazing in a Hobbit deck right there.
Yeah, so it gives you +3 attack if you're talking a higher engagement enemy. Yeah.
Right. And so I guess you're going to put it on Farmer Maggot.
I think it says character. So that's kind of one of those flex cards where it doesn't have to be a hero.
Right. So you put the +3 on Farmer Maggot. So he's doing 5 and the other guy's doing 4. Tom Cotton is attacking for 2 or something. So that's enough. You just killed a Nazgul like death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what I always feel like when the hobbits attack. It's just like it's like a swarm of ants coming at you.
Yeah, tiny little knives of doom.
Right. And so Gildor's been relatively quiet over there. I mean, he's been helping you quest and stuff.
Yeah, he's so immensely helpful that we pulled him out when we did.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's got hero-like stats, and that's always good to come off of the encounter deck, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I wonder now. So Gildor, I mean, he's a hero now, and he's also his ally's been out for a while. Obviously, you wouldn't want to just play him in this scenario because
yeah, you'd have
uh,
to discard him.
I feel like he can't enter play with the uniqueness rule.
Right,
So I feel like you'd be forced to just. I don't know if you'd overturn another card or not because he definitely couldn't enter play,
right,
but you still also at the same time overturned an encounter card.
right. So does he have to enter? Like, what's the? I guess that's an interesting rule. I'm sure
Yeah,
somebody somewhere has that rule down about
yeah.
I
But
because
again,
think
it just
what
kind of
happens is the new unique overtakes the old unique. In that
oh,
sense,
so you'd have to get rid of your hero.
I believe so. I believe that's how it works.
no,
Oh
no,
God, that would be horrible.
no. I think they just can't enter play as the rule.
Yeah, I think that's the rule too. I think that with restricted attachments, you can make the choice of what you get rid of. But I think that he just doesn't enter play.
Yeah.
And so if he
Again,
doesn't enter play, then that means he never was revealed. So therefore, he just gets discarded. He goes straight to the discard pile, and you have to do another card probably.
Well, let's ask Caleb the next time we've got him on the show.
Well, I'll just ask one of the
again,
guys in the
yeah,
one of the
it's like
guys.
a really oddly specific thing. You'd have to choose to play Gildor in a scenario where you know he's in the deck as a character.
Right. Well, I guess but that's true with any of those. Like if you're using Treebeard Hero, I guess Treebeard isn't in the. But let's see. You can't play Frodo. That's in the rules. You can't play Aragorn. That's in the rules.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's really one of those really corner cases because he
Yeah, it's
doesn't
super
start in
corner
play;
case.
he starts in the deck.
Right. I'm no good at this game when I'm dealing with not the corner case anyways, and so now now you're talking about super corner cases, and I'm really not.
Yeah,
Not good. So there comes Gandalf, the big gray wizard. I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me. Can I just tell you? Do you also have Woodman's Clearing in your deck too, there, Hippo Boy? Oh yes, you do. Look, okay, because this is the
yeah,
third. This is the third one that's hit the table, and then I see one on your deck there. So that's
yeah. Grant put him in both decks initially. I think I just swapped out some of the allies. I think, as he mentioned, I took out some of the Bjornings because Bywater Sheriff was came out after the decks were initially constructed.
mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, this is like a perfect card for this type of deck, and it works with Tom Cotton really well.
Right.
But Woodman's Clearing was just, yeah, it's a solid choice.
Yeah, especially if you're not running spirit, which I don't see. I don't see any spirit. Which
Yeah, we're not playing the scenario with any spirit, but we have Frodo's ability, which acts kind of like spirit cards, where it lets you cancel a
right,
card for his
right,
resource.
and the staff of Lebethron also. That's good because that cancels
Yeah,
the shadow effect. But you're kind of stuck um, with Frodo right now because he can't use his ability. If you want Gildor out, you have to spend the one on Gildor the whole time.
yeah.
So you're stuck if you need another one here. So how much is in the staging area right now? Did you guys just quest for 29? Is that 20? 20. Okay.
20.
Like what? Okay. So I would get nervous right now because there's 4 locations in the staging area, and
Oh, just you wait till the next stage.
okay, it's a big surprise. Oh, see, you got through that, so that's good.
Yeah,
And so now somebody better hover over the card here and see what it says. I think it's just all looks like flavor text. I mean, I guess I could bring it up on Hall of Beorn, but who wants to do that? Oh, there it goes. Add Buckleberry Ferry to the staging area. Okay, that's good.
And then
you can't travel there because you have to get through the 4 other locations. Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
Or more.
Right out of the staging area. Well, it reveals it to the staging area.
Oh, good. So that means you have to pass a hide test there, first player. Good luck. X progress on a non-unique location. Well, that's not horrible, right?
Yeah, so you can't travel to Buckleberry Ferry until you get rid of all other locations, but the scenario kind of helps you do that
Right.
by letting you put progress by passing height tests. But
Right.
it has to be non-unique.
Right. And so Bam Furlong is unique, and so is Buckleberry Ferry. So you have two unique locations. Stock Road and the other two, the two that are stacked up there, are not unique. So,
Yeah, and Pathless Country gets
all right.
it gets extra quest points when it's in the staging area.
Okay.
So they're
So
also
it techs
difficult
against that,
to get
right?
rid
It
of.
techs against
Yeah.
that in the thing there. So you're gonna have to. I mean, why? Oh, you're doing the hide test. So let's see. Do you pass the hide test? And the thing that handcuffs you on the hide test, you really were able to get rid of because it was on quest card 2B. So now you can, like, you don't have to worry about your hide test so much with the allies.
Yeah, passing the test get easier on the third stage because you get rid of that stupid second stage
Right.
bonus.
It's the second
Or,
stage quest card, right?
yeah.
Yeah. The anti bonus.
Yeah, the penalty, I guess, from our perspective.
So you had the stock, not the stock road. You had that, what is it? The woody end there. So does it? I guess its effect. Are you trying to figure out if its effect takes effect still, even though you already explored it?
So I can't remember why we're stuck with just one card there.
I mean, because it's hide 2, so you should reveal a second card.
Yeah.
And you just went through the.
Well, I wonder if the encounter deck ran out of cards. Because we might have had to stop to look up like if you have to do a hide and then the encounter deck runs out.
Okay.
But if we're well, no, because if you're on the staging, uh,
Right. If you're still in the
the deck
staging step, it still
would
shuffles.
100% reshuffle.
Right.
But we might be doing it now. We're doing it. I think outside that phase.
You're still in the staging step, right? Because you got through the phase, you turned it over, you revealed the Nazgul, and so you're still in that stage.
We're on resolution, so I
Right.
think what we opted
So-
for is the harder the better.
Yeah, so we opted to shuffle it and just do the extra card to make it.
Right. Well, that's right. You
Yeah.
should be doing it.
Yeah,
That should
I
be the
think
way you're doing it.
so.
Right. So that's good. So you 2, and then you committed enough to the hide test, so that's good. So please travel to Bam Furlong.
I think we're deciding where to place the 4 progress.
Yeah, because we passed a hide test. That's right.
Well, then you put it on the stock road, I guess, right? Now you're deciding on where to travel to. So I would travel to Bam Furlong.
Which is what I think.
Oh, no. See, you go to Pathless Country. See, this is why I stink at this game.
I think we chose that because of the fact it had more quest points while it was in the staging area.
And somehow along the way, Grant lowered his threat enough, and now Ted has higher threat than Grant does somehow.
Yeah.
It was all those Woodman's clearing, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
because and helped out to clear enough of some of the threat.
Yeah. And so there's a fast hitch sitting in Grant's hand that he can't do anything with because he doesn't have a way to pull out lore resources. This is where message from Elrond would be nice, right? Corner case used for message from Elrond.
Yeah.
Pass a card over to Ted and see what's going on here.
But isn't that also a low card?
Oh, probably. Should be neutral.
Should be.
Right. Uh-oh. Oh, Gaffer's gonna. Oh, wait. You're just gonna defend the thing? What if that's a horrible effect? Oh man. Okay.
It's a crow. It's got 0 attack.
I know, but what if the shadow effect was something stupid?
Like discard defending character.
Yeah. Right.
Warren Elf cycle.
Right. While you guys are doing this, I'm gonna look up message from Elrond and see what it is. Yeah, it's a lore card.
So, which I guess he couldn't play.
Right, he couldn't play. Right. Let me pass you a lore card with a lore card that I can't play anyways.
Yeah.
You know what could happen is no, I guess that can't happen either. I was like, so Ted could pass Grant a message from Elrond with a message from Elrond, and then Grant could play a message from Elrond. But you can't do that because no matter what,
Still need the lore.
you still
Yep.
need the lore resource match.
It's really funny though. Yeah, that'd be hilarious play. Oh my god, in like a multiplayer event to message an Elrond, someone a message from Elrond.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'll have to do a message from Elrond for you message an Elrond.
Yeah. Which then allows that player to give you something if you have two of them.
Right. So solid play, bringing Rosie out. That's always good. So
yeah, she's tremendous in this quest because
she's tremendous in any sort of Hobbit quest.
Yeah, very true. But she helps you out with hide tests because you can use her ability to boost your willpower for hide test.
Right. And then you can use all sorts of. She's a great target for Message of the King too. Messenger of the King. Oh, man, Rosie Cotton. I have no idea. Oh, look, see, now the fast hitch goes on to Sam. That's where I originally wanted you to put the fast hitch on. Was Sam to begin with? You guys, I think you're overly scared of hide tests. I'm just kidding. Somehow I just want to prove myself being right here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're rightfully scared.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
Yeah, they are pretty terrifying. Yeah. So it's interesting because it looks like to the untrained eye, which is me, it looks like this board state is pretty set up now to take care of a lot of stuff. I mean, I know that Grant lost Pippin, but still, I mean, you have Treebeard, which is I call him a pseudo hero. You know, he generates resources, so he can still bring out Ents and things like that. He can do all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, his stat line's crazy.
His stat line is crazy. So I just feel like this is. I mean, I know that you can't. I guess this quest card 3 doesn't have any progress on it, right? So there's no way to. You just have to. You can't just quest through this. You have to get rid of all those locations. I have a visualization of the Black Riders like chasing people around the Shire and the in the hobbits with their hands up in the air, going screaming as they're getting chased around the Shire, location to location. Pathless Country, Long, Pathless Country, back to Buckleberry Ferry, all sorts of stuff. So.
And even though I lost Pippin, I don't think it actually hurt my board state so much that it damages me in a sense. Yes, I've got cards I can't play, but I also have a decent enough board set up where it's not so much of an issue.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I got Gaffer, and ARS, we got healing and that kind of control. And yeah, Grant's got just like Quick Beam, the Preserver, Rosie.
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much else that you need to do here. I mean, it may just take a while just to clear the locations. So, Black Steed. Put it on a Nazgul. What are the bonuses that the Black Steed give the Nazgul? Did it say?
Minus 20 engagement cost.
What does it do? Minus 20 points to its engagement cost.
Yeah.
It goes to the staging area after it attacks.
Okay.
Like at the end of the turn, I think it is.
Well, there goes the use of Gaffer Gamgee on that guy.
Black Steed.
Yeah, it's minus something. I don't remember if it's 10 or 20.
Minus 10 engagement cost, and at the end of the refresh phase, return attack to the enemy in the staging area.
But Gaffer's going to tell that. Tell him what's what.
There's no Baggins here. Now be off with you.
The Black Steed could be so much like as a card with the new cycle and the Easterling attachments and what all those attachments do to the characters or the enemies there. Like it's just crazy to think of those things. So that's 4. Is that 6? Oh, Ted, did you pass the tide test? Probably.
Uh,
Probably.
uh,
We'll see what happens, I guess.
I forgot what I commit. Yeah, I didn't
I
see
mean,
what I
I think
committed
he
there.
committed Gildor, so
Yeah. But yeah, you can have some high variable, like the Nazguls make it really unpredictable, being a 4 cost.
right,
So you're up to 6, and that's a lot of willpower that you're not using to quest, that you're like holding back.
right,
Well, essentially, if you're running in a two-player game, you essentially, if you don't have anything that's buffing the threat value in the staging area, then essentially the most you need to quest for is, I think, 9, because the two highest cards are 4. I don't think there's anything higher than a 4 threat card in the encounter deck.
right.
And
Yeah.
most, if not all, of the cards in the encounter deck are height 2. There's nothing really that's saying height 3 or 4. It's just height 2 or 1, I think, or it's just height 2.
Is Katie sleeping behind you, Grant?
Yes, she is.
I can hear her snoring.
Is our
And
play
this,
is our playthrough that boring?
I was gonna say this is. I'm having a lot of fun doing this stuff, but she's obviously not excited about this at all.
I've got the headphones in so she can't hear we're talking.
Yeah, that's good. Oh,
Yeah, so it looks like we did another feint on the Black Rider there, which again is just so tremendously helpful
I
to
know.
not get attacked for 6.
We just recently talked about Feint on an episode, and I mean, we had to give Feint a 1. Just what it does for 1 cost. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard some people in the community say like it's a lot of people talk about staples, like, oh, what's like really key cards for certain spheres,
Right.
and there's very very few circumstances where I don't have a feint in a deck with 1 tactics hero.
Right. Grant get pulled out the second copy of Friend of Friends. Didn't mean to interrupt, but that second copy of Friend of Friends is nice because that now makes Sam and whoever he's going to put it on.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Who do we decide?
Bilbo.
Yeah,
It's
I think we
nice.
decided because Bilbo bequeathed Sting to Sam over his own nephew in this playthrough.
So you had a
That
little.
we're like, well, really, Sam and Bilbo
Friend of
the
friends.
friends here. Yeah,
Yeah.
We actually had a whole little narrative going about Bilbo taking over Sam's parentage instead of
yeah.
Frodo. It was hilarious.
But that
So I
gives
think,
that gives the attached hobbits +1+1+1+1. So it's
yeah. So we really should have played that on Frodo since we both share control of Frodo and he has that fast hitch.
But I
right.
think at this point in the game, we didn't really need it.
Yeah, I think we were doing it just to be goofy.
Yeah,
And then the
probably.
sheriff. Plus you have the Robin Smallborough in your hand, right? No, that's the sheriff, Bywater Sheriff. The one that
Yeah.
came out as Bywater Sheriff, but what's the one in your hand?
Yeah, it's that's Bywater Sheriff. I think I put him in there because I mean he's a hobbit, so he interacts with Tom Cotton, right? He gets +2 attack.
Well, the Bywater Sheriff is
Um,
the one with the that you just brought out. But what's the one next to Faint in your hand?
oh,
The lore one. I'm looking.
that's the Bounder. Excuse
Oh,
me.
right,
Yeah,
that's the Halfling Bounder, right?
Halfling Bounder. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he gets rid of if there's a side quest in
Yeah.
some
yeah.
kind.
Which I think each deck has 1 or 2 side quests. So I'm like, well, we have side quests in the deck, and he's Hobbit, so it fell into the thematic play, and like I said, works with Tom Cotton, so gave it a whirl.
But in this quest, we actually never went any side quests, I don't think.
No, we didn't. Neither of us drew into any of the ones in the deck.
Yeah, because I believe both decks have gather information in and scout ahead, I think it is.
Yeah, I think at this point we're just trying to
You just have to get through the locations at this
get
point,
through.
right?
It's such like a wading through the mud, just like a slow chug.
Right.
Because we don't have any other location control in the decks. We have none.
Right. Well, I'm wondering if like is location control good for this? Like to have somebody like let's say somebody was bringing kind of the classic location control with um I don't know, would that be good for this or not?
Yeah.
Locations can get clogged up in the staging area, and especially on Quest Stage 3, it's ideal if you have more location control so you can get to the Bucklebury Ferry a little bit quicker rather than having 5, 6 turns stuck clearing out locations.
Right.
Hoping to reveal a Nazgul so you can do a high test to get rid of
What had the hide test on it? Somebody was doing hide tests.
the black,
The treachery there.
Yeah, I think that treachery is I think you have to make a hide test or you give a choice, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's starting with the last player. Each player must either return a Nazgul enemy engaged with him to the staging area or make a hide 2 test.
Okay. So you
So
made the
right
hide 2 test.
right yeah, excuse me, David. I was gonna say right here is we're not going to BAM for long bid us because the quest ability to put progress on locations is only non-unique locations.
Right.
So by not going to BAM for long, like now we finally are like, well, I guess we have to travel here instead of
Right.
going to Buckleberry. We could have went this turn potentially.
Right. Because you can overcommit for hide tests to put the extra on the locations if you wanted to. So
Exactly. Yeah.
do you think Sam can take this guy?
Whether or not you use Sam for it, and then it was like, yeah, no, it's not worth using Sam for.
Attacking enemy is +2,
If it,
+1. So attack 1. So Dingle Warrior, shockingly, was able to take that. A crow versus a tree. That's a funny and now the tree gets annoyed.
Well, that's really funny that you brought that up because I think we did the same thing in our initial audio recording. Is we're like, oh, the crow is gonna like nest inside the end,
Yeah.
like something like that. Like,
it's a funny little exchange just straight off the cuff.
Yeah. Okay, so now.
But no, Gildo has definitely come in clutch this game. I've had games where he's done absolutely nothing for he's just been dealt as shadow cards or being discarded for high tests. And then this game, he's just like, yeah, just gonna be there all game practically.
So 2 halfling bounders. So you must have drew a halfling bounder this round, and then of course the Welling Hall Preserver, which is nice to bring out. Which of course you're paying with Treebeards because you lost Pippin earlier. So Treebeard, it's almost like Treebeard's cheating when you're using Treebeard Ally. He's expensive to bring out, but once you bring him out and get him up and go, like it's ridiculous.
He pays for himself, literally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He pays for himself and then some.
Right, especially if you can get him out early in the game with like a timely aid or with an elf stone or something. Like it's like there's nothing better than having this guy out. So, oh, what's that? That looks dangerous. Just pulled off there. Have you seen Baggins?
Baggins.
No, it's really good is because you have Gandalf or not Gaffer out. So
yeah.
When revealed, attach to a hero with limit 1 per hero. After a player fails a high test, discard attached hero.
That one's pretty bad if you have no condition removal, which we do not. But
right.
We're at the end of the game, so it had kind of a low impact, I think.
There's the hide test. Hide test 4. You got rid of a Nazgul there, so that's good. Oh. What do you...
That was my hide test.
Oh, you each have to do a hide test?
I think so.
Okay. Be careful you don't lose Tommy Cotton there. 1, 2.
Tommy.
Tommy boy. You passed. That was good. Okay, so that's good. Was that the first card or the second card? That was the second card. So you guys made it through there. You get rid of Bam Furlong. Now the third card comes out.
Second,
But the first one was the attachment.
it's Surge.
Had Surge on it. I hate Surge. This is like the 12th Nazgul you've seen. I just want you guys to know that. It's like the 12th Black Rider that you've seen. It's
Well, to be fair, we've cycled the encounter deck.
well, still now you're doing a hide test. Hide 0. That's good. So this is the third hide test you guys have had to do this round. 2-player, third hide test. Man.
And we've got to make a hide 3 to travel Huckleberry Ferry.
Now, is that anybody can commit, or is the hide test always the first player?
First player, I believe.
Yeah, it depends on what the card instructs, but I think Buckleberry Ferry says first player.
You got a lot of options there, so that's good. So I mean, you did.
I think I threw I threw everyone that I could, and then Rosie can add on to it as well.
Right.
So I got a pretty good pull there.
Yeah, you got two treacheries and then 1 location, so that's good.
Yeah.
So now Buckleberry Ferry comes into play. You guys don't have to engage that guy because he didn't fail a hide test.
Yeah, I think we were talking about engagements to whether or not it was worth engaging.
See, this is why having Bilbo with Sting on him is so awesome. It's like you could just keep tinking away at that guy. Like there's a new Hobbit Archer coming out. I think that would, like that's what I imagine Bilbo being when he does 1 damage to this guy. So. Oh man, this is really. Oh, you guys take him.
Yeah, I think we just decided to.
There goes Gaffer back into the hand.
Gaffer, because it'll make it easier to quest through if we pull him out of the staging area.
Yeah, and you have 9 progress to make on Buckleberry Ferry. So
yeah, and Gaffer, stopping the attack really lowers the risk of engagement, or at least that turn.
Right. And so this is where you Lolo. This is where you Lolo quest. This is where you YOLO quest.
Yeah, when your threat's low because you're playing hobbits, you Lolo quest.
Right, you really Lolo quest.
Yeah, but sitting at 33 and 35 threat, we're not Lolo questing anymore.
Yeah, it's really funny. We got Tom Cotton in the deck, and his best stat is for defense, right? He's got a 3 base, I think.
Yeah.
And he defended this game 1 time against a crow.
Right. With an attack of 0.
Yeah.
I mean, this must beg the question, like, you have all these cards you can't use. What are some attachments other than Protector of Lorien where you can pitch cards and get effects for? You know what I mean? Because you have cards in your hand, Grant, that you're not using. You're not gonna bring out the resourceful, and not that you wouldn't play the fast hitch, but extra copies. So Protector of Lorien's one where you can make use out of cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Elven Spear, I guess, is another.
Yeah, but I can't really utilize Elven Spear in this deck.
Not in this deck, but but is there? What are some?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, King's Elven Spear. Stephen Lodris is pretty good too if you're playing Spirit. Lets you pitch a card for 2 progress on the active location.
Yeah, that's good.
And that would actually work in this quest because of the wanted location control.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Lodris, what does that get put on? I forget. It has to go on a Spirit character?
Yeah, I think it's Spirit Hero or Noldor character, or I think it's Spirit Hero and Noldor Hero, I think.
I will have a look.
Yeah.
Make a hide test, guys.
Yep. I think I might have. Yeah, that's one I think where you get to choose. So I returned my Nazgul rather than make the hide test because it didn't matter.
Right, Stephen Lodris is a Spirit on Noldor hero.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
That's why I like Protector of Lorien. Comes out, you can just you just have it just in case you want to pitch cards to it. Apparently, you had to make another hide test. Hide 1? Question mark. Now, can you clear this, or do like you can clear Buckleberry Ferry? But what's the condition? What's the win condition? Do you have to get rid of all locations?
It's just you've got to put the 9 progress on Buckleberry Ferry, and once that's done, you win the game.
Okay, you just can't travel to Buckleberry Ferry without. There it is, 9 progress, 10 progress. Win. That is a win. And you lost Pippin. So the question then becomes, if you lose Pippin, are you going to pay the 1 threat penalty in the next game?
Well, we weren't sure if we were going to replay this or not because of the fact of there was a couple of misplays, and obviously we weren't sure whether we were going to go on to do the next campaign or if we're going to just keep it as like a sort of one-off. But I'm not sure, in all honesty.
Right.
Are we going to do the threat increase, or we're just going to replay and see if we can get through it without losing Pippin?
Yeah, well, that's what I was. Oh, wait, because you would have to change heroes. You'd have to come up with another hero to put in there. So, who's another? You'd have to pick Bilbo. I'm thinking of
Milan?
Merlot. Yeah. And then you can put out Protector of Lorien and Steeden of Vladris and all that stuff, right? Because is Merlin a Sylvan or a Noldor? Sylvan. Okay. Huh. Looks like whatever it is you guys are talking about at the very end here, it's
Yeah, it was whether what we were going to pick if we were to carry on, and it was chosen that we'd do Gandalf's Delay and Mr. Underhill, I believe it was, if we were to carry on.
What's the choice? What's the choice on the campaign card? You have to pick a burden, right? So Gandalf's Delay or the one that's in the encounter deck. And then
you got Gandalf's Delay, the Ring Brosm, or Mr. Underhill, or Gildor and Glorian.
Right. We picked Gildor. Gildor's really good.
Gildor is really good, but at the same time, that resource for paying them each round can be costly.
Yeah.
And I think we're basically doing
Here's the campaign resolution. Choose Gandalf's Delay, and the ring draws them, add it to the campaign pool, then choose Gildor or Mr. Underhill to the campaign pool.
And Mr. Underhill starts in play, so you it's guaranteed where Gildor maybe you'll see him. Like maybe
I think Gildor on some of them starts in play, I think, right?
No.
I think he just goes he's an encounter card, I think he just starts in the encounter deck and put him in your pool.
Yeah. But it's always so nice when you have a draw that doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
True. Even if he's a shadow effect that has nothing, I mean that's still like a win, because you didn't have a shadow effect.
Right.
I mean, there is ways of dealing with that, likes of using Shadow of the Past.
Shadow of the Past, right?
What have you? But at the same time, it's the resource cost if you get him out into play on Frodo. I think sometimes that mitigates the benefit if you want to use something like Frodo's Intuition or buying the Fellowship cards. So it's just I think
the ring draws them is a horrible treachery card. Never pick the ring draws them. Always pick Gandalf's Delay.
You see, I've picked the ring draws them in one of my offshoot campaigns with Katie, mainly because of the fact that I don't really want to be starting with 5 cards in my hand.
Well, we know that Katie loves to have cards in her hand, so she probably doesn't. She probably would kill you if you pick Gandalf's Delay.
I've done both because we've played this box a few times because one of the boxes I actually own in physical card at this moment in time,
right?
The sagas, and we've played this box once or twice, so used both of them in the games,
right.
And gotta say, the ring draws them as a shadow card feels pretty good when it comes out.
Right? I guess.
Well, if it comes out as a shadow card, it's like getting Gildor at that point. There's no shadow effect.
Right. Well, should we wrap up this? You guys are wrapping up your game here, and so we should probably wrap up our little commentary, right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
think
yeah, we made it through, and Pippin died in the books, right? That's how it worked. He died.
Right, he died at the very beginning. Fatty had to go with him, right?
That's what I thought.
Tom took over.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our playthrough with our peanut gallery commentary.
Yeah. Grant, any last gasps?
No, if you haven't played this quest, it's definitely a good one to play if you're interested in the actual story of Lord of the Rings. It's a good opening for the books.
Yeah. I think it's also a good opening for the to get a feel for what this campaign is going to give you too. So, yep. Okay, well, join us again as we talk about more campaign and more playthroughs from Lord of the Rings card game. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, that is amazing.